Hi, it's Deb from Project Life Deb's Way group. Hey, this is a sneak peek of what I'm going to do for my layout this time. Now, this time I've thought outside the box. I have used a card kit from Paper Flourish. They do an all-day card making event and they do like 12 cards in a day. And all of their packs come complete and they have pictures of all the cards, and I will actually go through each of the cards and show the process of where I change these card kits into making it into your project life. So here is a look at what I have done. Now I have done a flat card here that's attached to the folder, and then I've come through. I have done this time some 6x6s because I just wanted to change up my way of doing things, and then I have attached a fold to that page like so that you can fit extra photographs. So there we go. There is a sneak peek of how you can change a card kit into a project life layout, and it's a really nice way of learning different techniques and etc., because card makers are fantastic at layering cards and etc. So let's get on with making our cards. And I just want to again to thank Paper Flourish, Mandy and Ashley, for actually doing these card kits and everything else, and they have a great website at Paper Flourish as well. Now the first thing that I do is all the flowers that come in the kit, I actually flatten out and tear them all into bits, and as you can tell, the flowers that they've used here are these pink ones. I actually tear them off and just have the petals that I can use, and it's so that when you lay them down they are actually physically flat, so when you put them into your folders and etc., you haven't got all these bulky flowers, so you get the best of both worlds. And also with this kit, it also comes with some dies which you can use your own dies. I have decided, because it's the Mintay Wunderlust papers, when the kit comes, it comes with all the cardstock that you need for your cards, which is fantastic because all your colour selections are already made for you. And then it comes with stamps. It also comes with all the card stock that you need to make your cards up with. If it doesn't have an ephemera sheet, they will normally have a pack of ephemera that you can use. So, and it also comes with all your laces and everything else. So I know the pack sounds a lot of money when you have a look on the website, but it also normally comes with a die as well. So really and truly, I find with these kits you can normally make up to 2 Project Life formats, or you can make all the excess into extra cards that you can send to people as well. So it really is a win. They do have smaller card packs which they normally do up to 5 or 6 cards, which you can actually stretch out to a layout to actually make a full layout. And what I do is I go through their booklet and have a look at their layouts. For instance, this one here, I will use just this panel here and have a flap that I will use, and I also change sometimes the 6x6s to 6x4s, but I do what I call a mug map of what I actually want, and I put the page that comes from, and I sort of do a quick sketch of what I sort of want my card to look like. So I will take you through my process that I do, and it may just open up a new avenue for you for doing Project Life. Now this is the format that I'll be using this time, which is a little bit different to what I normally do. I'm using my 6x4 portraits with my 3x4s on the left hand side. Now on the right hand side I will be using the 6x4s because I'm doing a wedding photographs. I want to be able to fit larger photographs on, so I've changed up to my normal 6x4s. So I've got the 6x6s. Now what I will be doing is I will be adding an extra flap over this with 6x4s, which will give me an extra 6 photo spots for this. So let's get on and make our cards. Now how I'm going to do this, I will actually start on my 6x4 left hand side page, and I will work acrosswards so you know how we're going. So I'll do the 6x4 and the 3x4, 3x4 and the 6x4 and just work my way through the cards. Now our first card from our book is on page 3, which is this one here. Now I'm going to do a 6x4, so I'm going to disregard this part here and do this part here, and adding a photograph. So I will show you how I change this card up to being 2 cards in my layout. So I will work virtually these 3 squares. I will be doing the 6x4, 3x4 and 3x4, which is what is going to fit this card in here. So I will show you how I change that up to put my photographs and everything else in. Right, onto our cards here. Now this is the first card that I will be copying to make our first lot of cards from. And as you can see here, I'll just pop this to one side so you can physically see what we're doing. These are the cards that I have cut, which is I've done a 6x4, I have done a 3x4 and a 3x4. I decided not to use the green. I'm using the walnut because it's quite a nice soft browny colour. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to use this as a flip card, same, but I'm just making it slightly wider than the 6x6 that they have on the picture. Now here, this is the underneath card that I have cut. As you can tell, they have cut the square and then they've got the flap opening for the card. So what I'm going to do is I have cut a 6x4 card here for the top card, like so. I have then cut its the pink burlap on here, which is one of the papers. I have cut another 6x4, but I've just taken 1/4 of an inch off 2 sides, which gives you your nice border. So that will sit on top like so. For this card here, I decided to do just a photo mat like so. So that is quite nice and easy. This card here, I'm going to transfer this piece here. Now this piece here, they have cut from the Mintay papers, which is this part here that they have done. So because with the card, they have used that whole piece up here, I am going to, which you see here I have done, I've cut them into bits because I need it to fit on this small card here. So underneath the card here, I'm going to stick just a little bit of newspaper print. Now what I have done for that, I have a very old book here that I'm just using as paper, which I just tear out what I need. They're always handy to have those books. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick this piece on here. Like so, right into the corner. Like so. Then I've just got a little bit of white gesso, which I'm going to use, which of course aren't used with these cards, but I just want a piece of white gesso just to blend in. And I find these daubers are really good because then you can wash them under the tap. Just add a little bit of gesso, and up in the top corner here I've added a little bit of gesso to this, just to tie everything in. Now for this top card, I have just torn a piece of paper to actually fit onto my shortened card here, which I'm going to stick onto my card here. So we'll just go ahead and put some tape down onto your book paper. This is just a cheap book paper. It's just a very old book, and it's a really quite a cheap way to add some texture. I'm just going to stick that down. So instead of using the music paper, because once again that's going the wrong way, and I'm a bit AWOL about that, so just put a bit of the on here and then blend it down. And there we have the start of our card. So we'll sort of let them dry, and then we'll carry on with those in a second. Now with this underneath, because this is the flap that opens up, with this card here I have just done a photo mat, which I have cut the 1/4 of an inch off two sides, and then I have done the white photo mat which goes on top, which is 3.5 by 4.5, and that will make our photo card underneath. So we'll stick all that down, and we'll stick this down. With this card here, I'm going to add all of this, but what I'm going to do is add it here and stick it down. Now I've edged those all in brown. Now the reason why my flowers is because I'm turning it round to the other side. I have got the little case here, which I'll put down the bottom. Underneath like so. The leaves and things that were from there, I am going to stick, I need smaller tape, Once again, I've edged these in brown. I'm going to stick underneath. Like so. So there we have our 2 cards, the underneath card. Now I've stuck all my photo mats and everything else down, and this is our flat card. Now this is the top that we've done. Now just remember that this is going to be a flat card, so any cards that are sitting on top or underneath is going to get a bit of wear and tear. So make sure that you put tape on all corners of the card so it's attached really, really firmly onto your base card. So it is virtually stuck all the way around. Now, because this is going to be a flap card that flaps over, you need to have your piece of card. Now, I always make sure that I have my card for underneath so that you don't actually see your workings. But just remember, here's a little hint. When you're doing your flat piece, put 2 pieces of small tape, because what you can do is when you're actually doing the slit into your folder, when you install this card, you can take 1 piece of this tape off, position it, and then get your knife under and take the next piece off. It just makes it a little bit easier with negotiating of getting your card into place. So we're going to take the bit off of the top card, make sure we have it the right way. And attach it. Now make sure you always leave a little bit poking out so that when you do your mechanism, it folds through like that. And put the tape on this inside, and don't take that off because this will remain loose until you get all your photographs and everything in, and then you attach it when you're finished. So that's our flap card front done with our flap. Now we're going to finish the rest of this card off. So what I am going to do is, with this particular card here, which is this piece here, I am going to have this as a fold card, like so. Now, for the interest of this video, I'm just going to attach a tiny bit of this card and then take it off once I'm done for showing you. So here is our flat card, like so. Now here I am going to attach, see how we've got this count the ways, which you can do, but I want to put the description of what this page is and the wedding dates and everything of my wedding. So I am going to attach this card as a flap that goes over this card here, like so, and then I will put a nice piece of paper in there with a label that explains, which I will show you once this layout is finished. So I'm going to attach this card onto my card here once I have got all my bits and bobs laid. So we've got the clock here, which the flower is facing outwards, so we will just slip that in as they have it, like so, but I'm going to bring mine up a little bit, like so, in actual fact. Yep. Like so. Then I am going to do that. And then I'm going to lay some of my flowers and just fiddle around with my flowers till they look now. See how that's got the east and that's got the south? It means that your clocks aren't facing the same way. So very sneakily, I'm just going to drop a flower in there and then cover up the west like so. And then once you've shuffled everything around and sort of got it looking how you would like it, you would actually attach all of your goodies. Okay, so I've stuck my card down here, put my tape on there, ready for my card to go down. Now, because I didn't like the fact that this clock was facing and this has got south, I actually got some of this and added some green ink and sort of spludge. So I'm actually going to add just a little of the white to this clock to make the other clock look similar. So what I'm going to do here is we now just pop your card sort of where you want it to go, like so. We will now angle this down and stick this clock down where we need it to stick, because then we can actually attach the other things. Now I've really stuck this down with a lot of tape because it's going to take a lot of punishment because it's actually outside the plastic folder. So make sure everything is really well attached, like so. Now because we have finished, we can actually put down our overlay card. Now, it does look like I keep a clean desk until you look at either side where I push all the junk. So, just put your card where it's going to sit, where you want it to sit. So when you flap, you're like so. Now, what I have forgotten, which it just shows that we can do this. Tear off half my card. Oh, we need a backing on this card here. So I think I will do the newspaper print of the book. Going to quickly take this. Okay, so I've just put the back, and make sure that you don't get it upside down and the opposite side, which is what I've just done. So the wonders of quick video editing, I have redone the card. Place it into place, and there we have our little cover. So here we have. Now I did notice when you open this up, this area here looks very plain, so I've just gone in and I've cut from the sheet that we cut this from. I've just cut the bit of flower that was sitting in here. So I'm just going to attach this up here just to fill up some of that blank. And you could put a nice little saying here or something. I may find that later. So here we have our fold card now that folds like this. So we will finish the inside of the card here. Now for the inside of the card, I have just cut some of the white paper, which will be going in here. This here was a bit left over from the burlap that I cut, so I'm going to use that floral in here. I have got a 3x4 photo mat, which I'm going to put here with my white photo mat with just a smidge taken off, so I've got a little border which corresponds with this border here. I have taken, I wanted a little saying down here, so I've just taken a little bit of that, cut a piece of the burlap. Now I did cheat, I did actually cut this to fit my saying in. Now my saying is from a clear sticker sheet, which I actually stuck to the book paper so that it actually corresponds with the colour tonings that we're using. So that will go here. So you've got a photo mat, and a photo mat there. So there's 3 photographs already going in this small area here. Now here we can actually find another little flower that we can put in. So I think what we'll do is we'll use this flower here. And so I'm going to cut that out, and that will fit in there. See, we could have, if we wanted to, actually cut that just complete and stick that on. So I will cut that out and stick that in. Okay, so here I'm just once again going to just quickly put some gesso on that card, which of course normally you would leave to dry. Okay. So we're going to attach. This is a good way if you've got a kit, like a card kit, you can actually stretch your papers because you're not using extra papers. So up the top we are going to attach our photo mat. Like so. No, we're not. We are going to attach, as you can see I'm doing this as we're going along. We will attach our floral. Then we will attach our photo mat. Once again, just keeping your borders even. We'll attach the saying down the bottom. Like so. So that completes the inside of our cards. So that will flap over like so. Now on our card here, we are going to put some of our flowers on. Now I didn't have many leaves with this kit, So I'm going to go to my stash and I'm going to get some of my leaves that I always have sort of made up and ready to go. Now to do my leaves, I either have vellum ones, which I think for this will be very nice. Now the vellum leaves, I have actually used a Heartfelt Creations stamp, which is this one here, Oakberry Lane Blossoms, and you get the leaves and you can actually just stamp them out and die cut them out or cut them out by hand, and it does mean that you've got so we're going to stick those in as well. Just means that you have a ready supply of leaves to use on projects. There we go. And because I've got rid of that writing there, I don't need to pop any little flowers up there. I'm going to pop a pink. Now for the centres of these, because I've pulled them all apart, they do need some centres. So I've just got some pearl little studs that I can use. And you can just pop your little centres on. I'll put a big one. And now, so this is what we will end up with. This is the card from the card kit that Paper Flourish did. So as you can tell, with your project life, it is nice and flat. It will fit into your folders, and you have a flat card which introduces 2 more photo spots. So in that little area, you have now got 3 photos, or you can put a photo here, but I'm going to put my wedding information there. So that is our first card made. Now we're on to the top right hand. I've got a 6x4 of the craft. They also supplied a duck glue card, which I have cut 1/4 inch off 2 sides so that you've got a small border, and I haven't edged this card. I then have a card that was cut. I'll just stick this down. Now this card here is from the Wunderlust, and it's this from here, and I've cut the card, and I have also cut a small floral here and a small ticket from here. This also came with 2 dies. This is another one of the dies that came with this particular card kit, but any scrolls would do for this. So there is our card. Now this particular card here, I have done a 3.5 by 5.5. So once again, that will give you that lovely layered look. Now with this particular one, I am going to put my 3x4 photo frame in here a little bit inwards. This is the 2 tags that I've cut for the two different sizes, and once again I have used, instead of the music paper, I have used the just the book paper. And as you can see, this is here, so I'm going to put my scroll like so. I will put this, move it up to the top. I will then have my three by 4 photo mat. So I'll just sort of tuck these in. Like so. The small florals that I've cut, I will just pop into the side here, so it's just peeking out the side. And where they've got all these flowers and everything else, I'm going to layer the small ticket in here on a slight slant. And then instead of flowers around here, I think I will just pop don't like that bobble because that's not going to sit flat, so I will just cut this off. And pop a couple of leaves. So there we have our next top card that will fit up in the top hand corner. And as you can tell, the card is very much like the original that was made, but we have just tweaked it a bit to become a Project Life card. The next part of the layout that we're going to do is the bottom part of the layers, which is the 6x4, 6x4 and the 2 3x4s. In this, I've only got one card that I'm going to make from this, and this is this one here, and I'll show you how we do this one. But before we do that, I've got 2 picture cards, which I have put a floral, the brown, which has just got 1/4 inch either side cut off, and a white. Now the reason why I have cut a hole in the middle, this has terrific florals on that we could actually use, so I've cut the middle out so I can cut these flowers out so I don't waste anything. On the other cards, I have cut from the number 1 sheet, I've cut the back map out. I've also cut out 2 of the luggage, which is the luggages here. I have cut out the flower ring, which comes from the number 3 sheet up here with the plain. So they're the bits I've cut. I've cut 2 of the little mats out as well with the green, and a piece of the paper which measures 3 by 4. The reason why I'm introducing this, whereas this one hasn't got it, is because I've got this elsewhere in the layout, and it just does the continuity of things. So now we're just going to layer. I've inked my card around the edges. We'll just take our tape off. So this just becomes a good photo mat for a 6x4 portrait photo. But I'm introducing the brown because we've used the brown elsewhere. I've only got a tiny little border there to give me as big a photograph as I can get. And with this one I've used a pearly pink, but it is in the tones of the pinks with the duck egg blue. So I'll put it on card. Now this one is the photo card, and I've inked around the edges. Make sure my prints are the right way. And then I'll put my white photo mat. Once again, I've taken off 1/4 of an inch off of 2 sides to give my little border. And then this one is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. Once again, it'll give you just that little bit of a border round. And see, this will actually go, when we go on here and layer, you will get a pop of this little bit of green to match this. So there's our 2 photo mats there. I'll move those up out the way. Okay, so we're going to fussy cut these out and then edge them. I've done the pink with the blue, so I've done the pink instead of the white on this. I've got my little tag that I'm going to pop onto my blue. And then I've got my second which has come from a nesting die, so that you can get your smaller and larger sizes of these. Okay, now I have forgotten that I wanted this little sheet tucked in here, so I'm going to stick that in right now. And then I'm going to get my little bit of gesso, because I have done this on all my other go, and stick that down. As I said, normally I would wait till that dries, but because we are videoing, okay, we're going to just quickly edge. Now with this little suitcase I made smaller because the size was just not right for what I wanted. So I'm going to pop that down here, just at the bottom, because I want the flowers to be tucked in behind, so until I position them, which will be like so, and then I can stick the suitcase down. Now I've also got a little ticket I've done with an edge and a little one here. So we're going to stick those down. And once again, you can see that that's poking out a bit, so we'll do exactly the same. That one goes over the top, so it's matching. I've done a little sign here, which I want just to pop here, and I'm going to put some flowers here. But I will put this on some foam tape. And get a couple of my little flowers out of my goodie box. And we need and there we go. So we'll stick our leaves down. Stick our flowers. And then we just need to put our little into place. And there we have our look-alike card, which is very, very similar. There. So then that will actually sit like so. And now we are going to do the card that fits here, which is this card here, and we are going to lift all of this up and put our photograph here. So we'll do that card next. Now we're going to do the last of the 6x4 cards, which is this one here. So I've got a 6x4 in the craft, the pink card, which I've just taken off 1/4 inch both sides. Then I've taken off, this is just over 3.5 by 5.5, so that we just have a bit of a border around. So far we've followed the card exactly, but I want a 3x4 photo mat on my area. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick it down part way. I've also done the difference, because I'm using this sort of paper, I have done some word print which we are going to stick down. And to stick that down, and once again I'm going to get a bit of my gesso, and just pop it up in the top corner like so. There we go. Now we will put our photo mat down. So now what we do is this tiny bit here we are going to introduce. So we have got our and try and put your S, because all the rest of the maps have got south facing that way. So just do a quick now we're going to off center this and tuck it underneath. Like so. We'll put this flower here, and I've edged all of my things with some ink. I've just cut a couple of the tickets out of the Euphoria sheet. Poke that out. So pop a couple of your little tickets, making sure that your writing's up the right way. And this little flower here, I think we'll put him on a bit of dimensional tape so that we can tuck our photograph underneath. Just move my tickets. Across like so. And I think we might look. there we have our card done. And as you can tell, you've used like the clock and the tickets and things like that. So you've got the idea on how that you can make your layout similar. So here is what our first layout will look like with the flap that opens. So as you can tell, you've got a lot of photographs there. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there, because I want this to put my printed description. So really and truly, these ones here are the photographs that you will see, and are similar, but they make a beautiful project life. So that is how you make a card pack into a project life. So now we go on with the other side. Now our 6x6 cards, our first card here is following this card here, and I've decided, because this was in the top left hand corner, I'm going to just do as what I class as an eye candy card. So I will be following virtually identically to what they have got here. So we just need to stick our cards down. With just that 1/4 inch off both sides to give you a border. And then this one is 5.5 by 5.5. Like so. Now we'll just stick this one down here, which is just the piece of the book paper with a bit of brown popped on, like so. Now I've cut one of the larger out like this. So we can stick that down as well. Now before I do that though, once again, to match up with everything else, I would like to put a little bit of gesso. I'll take my little, which I've been keeping wet. Just going to put a little bit of gesso onto the item to match up with what we've already done elsewhere. Okay, so now we can stick a little nesting die in. The next one to go down is our little scroll here. So this particular card, I am just virtually working to the template that was given to me. Okay, so now remembering to put the south up the top so it matches all the other . So I'm just going to lay that down. I'm not going to attach it as yet. because we have to put the blue tickets in. So put some blue tickets here. And then they had the brown tickets, and as you can see, they have virtually split the tickets in half. Like so. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So holding that down, I do have some tape behind. So I'm just going to lift that tape off and stick my ticket down. Okay, we're position like so, and then I want to stick my ticket just pop that and we just need to move that slightly across. Now I do have, before I stick everything down, a word, and it is slightly a different shape because I just didn't have those wordings. So what I've done, I've found a wording that I particularly like, and I've made my square to fit the wording that I have got. And I'm going to pop this here, and the blue wording I'm going to just move across slightly, like so. Just stick that down on this side but not underneath, because I do have some florals to pop in. I think I prefer this one. We'll just stick that down. There we have our card, which is an eye candy card, which is very similar to what they have, but I've just used what I have. Our next top card is once again a 6x6, which I've got the craft mat. I have cut out with just 1/4 inch off two sides a blue burlap. Now I took out the inside because I wanted to do some tags and things, so instead of wasting my paper, I've just done that. Then I cut a 5.5 by 5.5 mat to go on top, and as you can see we're following fairly close to this one here. Then I have cut a 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and I've edged this one in the brown, and this is where we deviate from this one here. I'm going to have a photograph here instead, which as you can see I've got my 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, so I can have a full 3 by 4 photograph. I've also done again my full sheet here, and to match up I'm going to just throw a bit of gesso onto my card just to tie everything in. So we can now I'll put the one side of my photo card physically down into the center of the card. Now the reason why I'm only doing half is because I need to put things underneath here. Underneath here we have a lovely little florilette. Now I've done a different sign which I will attach here. Once again, I've just made it to fit what I need. There we have that. Now I'm going to put this down here on a piece of foam tape so that my photograph will fit underneath. I will stick. Now I've just stuck everything down. I've put this on some rising tape, and as you can tell it is very similar to the card, except I've put the writing down the bottom and etc. with my scrolls. So there we have our next card that goes side by side. So now we will do this bottom hand corner card. Here's our next card, which is this card here, which I'm going to do a photo frame, but once again we have got the pink, so we're following the card virtually the same to this point, which is 5 3/4 square. Then I've done a 5.5 inch square, which I've edged in brown of the burlap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a photo frame here on top of some print, which I'm going to leave a bit extra on the side here. So we are going to stick the print down. And there is our photo frame. Now, with my photo frame, I want to leave edges all the way around because we will be putting things sort of underneath. And I'm just going to put a bit of the gesso on there to just blend things in. Now this is one of the clocks, the compasses, so I want that one exactly the same as what they've got. But once again, I'm just going to put a little bit of to cover up those, because this does not follow the same, just sort of spludge it so it looks like it was meant to be. Okay, we will attach that down. Like so. At the top here, I have got the same, so we're going to just pop that sort of in the same place that it was before, but we'll raise it to the top like so. We've got the other blue one, and we're going to position that the same way, so it's virtually the same as this. We have got the pink here, which we will put the south upwards. Like so. We have got the pink scroll, which they have laid downwards. So I'm going to curl that like so. So I will stick that down. I have then got some other flowers there to position underneath the floral clock, because I've got a flower here, so we're going to do that. So we'll stick that down. Okay, and then we will just add some of our little flowers here. just attach those two and just pop our little and there we have our card. And as you can tell, it is quite easy to change your cards out and put your photograph in. I may actually put a little word up into here when I'm finishing off, when I put my photograph in. So there is another card completed. This is our bottom card. So once again, I've got a 6x6 in the craft. I have got the 5 3/4 square. Now with this one, this is the card that we are basically going to change. So I've decided once again to just keep the print in all of the cards, add some of the print, but I've left a border this time. Now at the top, I'm going to add a little bit of the gesso. There we go. Now this time I have got a photo card which is just under 5.5 by 3.5. I know it's a bit of an odd size, but it's the only way I could work this photograph in. So this is going to go just inside to give all your little borders. And what we're going to do with this card, like so, is we're going to turn our display this way, so it sort of follows up the top here. So it's just one way that you can actually do this. So we can pop our little up here, and once again and then we have got our little scroll here, which we will just sort of tuck in like so, and then we'll just put some flowers like so. Okay, so we're going to stick these down. We'll take our tape off of this bit. Now I've edged all of these with the brown. There we go. Stick that down. Stick some of our petals down. Okay, so then we just need to put our little pearls in place. Just need a big one, a pearl in here. I'll just have to go and get, I've run out of big ones, so I will just go and get another big one for that one. So there we have our next card, which is very similar to what has been made, and that's how I've changed it up so I can have a photograph. So virtually we have now done our next layout. So now we will just complete our flat piece that will go over these two cards here. On to our last 6 by 6 cards. This one here is going to be a similar sort of thing to this one. So what I've done, I have once again cut a 5 3/4 square, which we are going to attach to our backing card. And I've inked that around with brown ink. Now our photograph here is going to go up here in the middle. But before we put our photograph down, we just do it one-sided because we need to put things underneath. Now I'm putting this a bit further up because here I'm going to put a little saying or explain or use as a journaling spot. Now I'm going to put these two nesting dies I'm going to put in here, like so. I've cut my swirl, which I want to put in here. One of my florals I want there, so we'll lower the swirl slightly, and then I'm going to put my flowers here. With a couple of my vellum leaves. So I'll go down and I'll stick all of this down, and here is our next card finished. And as you can tell, it is a little bit different to what this is, but it does use the different colour schemes and etc. To give you your card. The next 6x4 is a very easy one. All it is got the burlap, which I've inked. We're going to stick this. This one here is going to be a fall photo card. And we've got the pink. So once again, that is 5 3/4 and 5 1/2 square. And then there's a full 5 by 5. You can either put your photograph in or use, if it was a landscape or portrait, and use the rest for a journaling spot that you can put in. So there is our next set of cards. Now here comes our next card, which is this one here that we'll be using, but we'll be making it into a 6 by 6. So once again, I've got my backing craft 6 by 6. I am doing pink. Like so. And instead of the blue, I'm going to use the brown creamy coloured burlap paper, like so. So as you can tell, we've sort of followed what's going on here. Now I've decided to do the biggest photo mat I can fit in the bottom here. So we're just going to pull first sticky tape and actually stick the bottom of this card down. Now for the top, we have got, I also decided, because this has got some of the colour print running across, it doesn't work with this, so I have decided to just do instead of newsprint or anything else, a full strip running all the way down. So we'll just cut off the excess. And there we have it running down. So now we need to put our in here. Like so. Make a decision where we want to put this, because everything else follows from where this goes. And I think, looking at this, I might run it this way instead. So I'll do the orientation the opposite. The reason being is I've got one of these up the top, so if it was up there it would sort of be matching, so we'll completely turn it on its head. Now I want one of the little scrolls in here, like so. This will go underneath. And then I'm going to put some flowers in the bottom. like so. And put some leaves in. Like so. And there we have our next card, which of course we've orientated it slightly different to what this is, but you actually get the basic idea of what you can do. Now this is our last card. Once again, we've got a 6x6 base card. I'm going to use the duck egg blue. And this is the card that we're following, and we're going to follow it exactly because I want another full, what I call eye candy. So I can use this card as a card. So I'm just constructing it as we go. Now with this one, I didn't have enough of this card. So what I have done is I have just used 2 bits that I've cut, like so. I've put a bit of the gesso on there because this has, as you can tell here, a full card all the way across in the middle. So it's just another way that you can stretch your papers. You could have actually done that with the duck egg blue as well. Now they've used a piece of the blue sort of like street maps. Like so. Now they told us to cut out this piece out of one of the pieces of the Wunderlust full 12x12 papers. So we just need to, as you can see, it's this bit here. So that's the next bit that has to be placed down, and I've edged that in brown. So on that goes. They've also got us to do these 2 pieces like this. So we'll stick those down. As I said, it is lovely to have directions occasionally so that you can just follow what someone else has done. It really is quite relaxing. And it is a really good way to get your mojo going again, because it gives you a few new ideas. And now I've cut some words out here to suit what I'm doing, which of course is a wedding layout. Now I'm finding I don't like this edge here, so I'm just going to go into my papers and find myself a leaf. because I know for a fact that that will annoy me no end. So I'm just going to tuck underneath there a little leaf, like so. Okay, once that is down, we have got our scroll here. I'm sure everybody that's got die cuts will be able to find a scroll of some form or other that they can use instead of this particular one. And it just goes underneath. Just hold that down while that goes. Now the camera needs to go here. And I'm going to put the camera on a bit of dimensional tape, just to give it a bit of here we go. We can stick our flowers on. Like so, and then we put our centers in our flowers. We just stick and we also want now what I did with these leaves is I have actually used vellum and I've stamped on them with a bottle green embossing, and then I've just coloured them in and cut them out. And I do a whole ton of these, and then I've got them for when I want them. And there we have our card finished. Like so. And these will be for the flap page, so they will be working like this, and then they will open like that, and then we have our full layout. So now I'm going to make my attachments for my slits in my folder, and when you do your folder, I will show you how to do that with one of these sheets. So what I actually physically do is I cut one of these sheets down and I'll make it into a flat page. So I will show you how to do that. Now I've put all my photographs in, and as promised, here is my flap that we're going to do. Now to do this, we turn it upside down because we need to put our prepared flap in on the back. Now when you're doing it on the back, you need to actually attach it to the brown card underneath. So when you put your next card in here, you can actually slide it in. So what we have to do is, remember I've put the tape on the side that folds. We put a tiny slit from here to here to match where I've made my flaps. Now all my flaps are made of is this piece here that attaches to your ring binder. I've just cut 2 pieces away so that you've just got some flaps. So I've already pre-cut my slits, so you just virtually poke them in to your plastic folder like so. So we'll take off the tape. And attach our first flap like so. The second one is always harder than the first. So now when we turn it over, you will have your full flap inserted as a fold, and it works beautifully with no problems at all. So there is our one flap, and as I said, when you put your next card in, it will just slide straight in as a normal layout. Now this one here, we have also got our flap that is laying here, so we have to do exactly the same as that. You turn it upside down so you're at the back, and this will be where your fold is. You need to do a slit in the folder on this side here. Now we're on to our left hand spread. Now remember, we actually did a flap which we haven't attached. So what we have to do here is just mark our plastic folder, and then what I tend to do is I put a piece of cardboard into my folder so that I don't cut the back, and very carefully slit your folder like so. Now what happens then is pull your slit up and slide your card in to your hole. Fold your card over and then press down, and that attaches your card onto the back, and it means that when you slide your card in, you've got a full access like so for your other card that's going to go in. Now the reason why I only do a small piece like that, because if you cut from top to bottom, your cards will just fall out, whereas this is absolutely secure. And as I said, remember to keep everything really well stuck down, because it does take a bit of beating because it isn't into a plastic folder. So there we have our flap with this piece. Then we have our second sleeve, which has got our fold. So as you can tell on this wedding spread, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 photographs all up with a really nice spread. So I just want to say thank you again to the ladies at Paper Flourish, and this whole layout has been done using the 12 cards here as a template. So it is similar but different. I hope you enjoyed this process, and till next time, thank you, and don't forget to subscribe and like my channel if you can. Thank you. Bye. Don't forget, I do have a Project Life Deb's Way group if you want to join us. And don't forget to subscribe and like my channel